Hi everyone. We just wanted to come back with this conversation on how to practically have a conversation with your child who might be struggling. We were chatting after session 1 and session 2, and we just think this is super helpful, step by step. If you don't think it would be helpful, that's totally fine. You can just scroll past this, but I know for so many parents, it's okay, so I'm noticing something's happening. How do I practically have the conversation? When is the best time to do it? And when we have Phyllis here, I just thought we would ask her and get everything out of you that we can. So Phyllis is going to just take us through some of the things that might be helpful from, entering the bedroom. What's the best environment? What's the best time? And different things like that. So I hope you find this conversation helpful. So Phyllis, as we are starting to have the conversation with our child, what just in a really practical sense, so we've already talked about what might be going on in their brain, everything like that, but it's nearly these wee things can also make or break a conversation. You can go in with the best intentions, but what sort of advice would you give having a conversation with a child or a teenager about what might be going on to get as you said in a different conversation, you have an end result in mind that I would like to get to hear. What best facilitates that for the parent, for a win on both sides, for the child and for you? And obviously every child is different, but as an overview, what might be some good things to think about as we're entering that conversation?
So one of the things to think about individually is what you know about your child, what their character and personalities are, what their interests are, what their best times of the day are, what even their weekly schedule, when are they full tilt in activities and likely to be tired. I would say those days are not the days for these conversations.
When you're screaming to get your shoes on your way to school.
You got it.
Not the time.
So the other lovely idea is the location of some of these conversations.
Okay.
So you've just mentioned there, so you walk into a bedroom when you want to have those conversations. That's absolutely an option. But I'd like to give you a great option, which I think is starting some of these conversations at the right time in the car.
Okay.
The car's a brilliant time. If the general mood is either neutral or slightly above average,
okay,
that there's been no angst, you're picking them up from somewhere and something awful has happened, then that car journey is not time for this conversation.
Okay.
Car journeys can be brilliant because, for a start, as a parent, you're engaged in roadcraft. Well, you should be. So there's a reduction in eye contact.
Okay.
Which I think we underestimate for the child. Experiencing intense eye contact with any adult is very intimidating for a child.
Okay.
So when you're engaged in driving, then the child has a bit more freedom to listen and respond without being overly scrutinized.
Okay.
And also the car journey is likely to be, have a beginning, a middle and an end, if you like.
Yeah.
So even if a big conversation is started, the child can work out how long it's likely to continue.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Now, if you live in Belfast and you're going to Fermanagh for the day and you start this 10 minutes out of Belfast.
The parent thinks, great, they're in, they're trapped.
I got them for 2 hours. That's likely to be overwhelming to the child. So I'm talking about a 10 or 15 minute car journey that you could say, I wanted to touch base with you on something. I want to get your thoughts and ideas about something. That's a good place to be.
Okay, brilliant.
If you walk into a bedroom, absolutely you can do it there. Make it clear that you want to talk for a few minutes. So use phrases like that. Just want to chat with you for a few minutes. Just wanted to touch base with you on a thing that I've been thinking about and I'd love your input on. So start gently.
Okay.
Use your wisdom, your life experience, and understand that these things will flow better with gentle encouragement rather than forceful authority.
Okay.
Right? So one of the best ways to start, either in the car or bedroom, is start with something positive about your child.
Okay.
So we're going to make a little sandwich, if you like. you're going to start with something positive, but genuine. Something you know about them, something that you're grateful for about them, one of their strengths and qualities that you can aptly describe. Start there.
Okay.
Then move to the middle of that sandwich where you want to touch base on something that it's okay to say you're worried about it. It's okay to say something has changed and you'd love to know what it is.
Okay.
And you want to give them an opportunity to meet you in this conversation. Use words like that, connective type language words.
It's brilliant.
See what they say. If they're not forthcoming, trust the process and counterintuitively bring the conversation to an end. Do you walk out of that room thinking, I didn't get anything there? And I want to encourage you by saying that's not the case.
Right.
Right? What you're actually saying as the adult is, I didn't get the outcome I was looking for there. I didn't get the details I think I need. But what you have likely left the child with is an idea of your availability and an idea of your respect for them. So you didn't get what you wanted and you ended the conversation without being cross. So the end of that sandwich might be, look, just love having a wee connection with you. We'll come back and get that again and leave.
Great.
Because this can be a conversation in a series. If you push for too much in the first conversation, you make the subsequent conversations more difficult for yourself.
Right.
Little and often is the way to do this.
Okay.
Than an absolute explosion because you're so worried about something or so cross about something. Even when that occurs, you're super worried or super cross, manage yourself in these sandwich type conversations.
Okay.
That gives the child autonomy when to share, what to share. And it also gives them an idea that you will return to the conversation because you're genuinely interested in them.
Okay.
So anything you say in these conversations, be sure to follow up on.
Brilliant. Brilliant. That's so helpful. And what if, because you understand the frustration of, just tell me.
Yeah.
Like, just tell me what it is. And if they're saying, I'm fine, or I don't want to tell you that.
Yeah.
And, but I like, and going back to your difference between demanding and commanding respect, I think, is so helpful to think about that there too. But are you going to say something? Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to say. So if you're going into conversation and your child starts to disclose stuff to you that is going on, maybe you kind of knew something or maybe you didn't have a clue, especially if it's something that is affecting them, oh, I was on social media and I did something that I shouldn't have done, or I was at a party and I did something that I shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Something that, as parents, should we, even if we are alarmed, should we show that? Should we let them know that's really bad or that I'm really concerned about that? Or how should we respond? So if you've done everything great, you've gone into your conversation and it's gone really well, you've got your connection and your child starts talking.
Good.
How do you continue to keep that good connection?
Good.
And keep the child talking and then come into a good end result? Rather than get them to stop talking or
That's very good. I mean, that's a brilliant outcome if they start talking and they start telling you awful things. That's actually good.
Yeah.
So what I would say the best first response is, oh, I am so glad we're talking about this. You could be completely freaking out about what you're hearing, about what might need to happen. That is not the first thing to communicate to your child.
Okay.
Validate them. Show gratitude for them sharing this with you. Give them absolute assurance that you are with them, that even if this is not easy, you're with them.
Okay.
Another good thing for parents to do is to say, look, I might not have all the answers here. I might not know all of the steps that would be good to take, but we will find good people who do.
Okay.
So you put yourself, aligning yourself with your child in not knowing the next steps completely, but use your adult brain in order to assure them that you will find it for them and you will find it with them.
Yeah.
Even if you really don't know what's next, hear what your child is saying, thank them for saying it, and go then gently with even wondering with them what would be a good next step.
Okay.
Right? So you've done really well up to that point if they start talking. And I want to encourage parents by saying there is resources available for them. Mm-hmm. There are structures, there are organizations that can help properly keep children safe. And if you don't know as an adult who that might be, that's okay. Mm-hmm. So if you're hearing things that are giving you information as a parent about imminent physical danger that your child has been in or might be in, then in the psychological world we call that's a safeguarding issue.
Yeah.
That needs to be taken really seriously. And you don't have to give your child all of the details about what you might do with their information at that point.
Okay.
Reassure them that it's brilliant they're talking and that you'll go and make a couple of inquiries in a quiet way and come back to them and let them know.
Okay.
And your line of inquiry might be with, well, it could start with if someone is threatening your child's physical safety. I would say phone your local police station.
Okay.
And ask for community policing to give you advice on the legal stand about that or the steps that they might be able to help you with to keep your child safe.
Okay.
So don't be afraid of understanding that the police might be a resource for you, that the legal system could be there to help you and your child.
Yeah.
And there can be school as a good resource. If your children are telling you something going on within a school system, then it's really good to go and inform in as comprehensive a way as you can the school system.
Yeah.
So a form teacher, a vice principal or principal, a pastoral care teacher. Mm-hmm. School benefits from knowing what the child is telling the parent if it's school related.
Great.
And the other thing then is, if you think then there's something that the medical system might help your child with,
okay,
in terms of mental health, then a GP is a good resource for a parent to say, my child is telling me that they are thinking of self-harm or even, taking their own life. That's a really shocking thing for a parent to hear, but it's really brilliant to hear it, if I could be honest with you.
Yeah.
So go to your GP, make the appointment, and ask for help from that system too.
Yeah.
Right? There are counselling agencies that are in communities that are actually a good resource for young people to be heard and seen safely in. I can give you some links for that.
Brilliant.
These are all avenues worth exploring for the parent, because you're then talking to professionals, be that police or GP or therapists, who are trained and knowledgeable in the working, either legally or medically or psychologically, that will help you as a parent plan good next steps. You are not on your own as a parent, and your child is not on their own.
It's brilliant. I love how you said that, because sometimes as a parent, especially if you hear the child say, I don't want to be here anymore, that obviously is really hard for a parent to hear, and you automatically think, well, what am I going to do? How do I keep them safe till I get an appointment at the GP, or where do I go? So to know that there is a whole bank of resources there too, for you to avail from, and that they're not alone is the main thing. And just lastly, before we finish up, do you think it's helpful to say to the child, we will sort this out together? So I love you brought in the collaboration, like let's think, what do you think we should do? What would be a good next step? So the collaboration runs right from the very beginning throughout. Is it good to give your child an assurance of what maybe it's a good thing to say? Well, I don't know. I'm not going to put anything in your head. Is that a good end to the conversation? Yeah. Obviously, you've talked about the collaboration, but are assurances good, not good? What way should we go with that?
So assurances are absolutely vital.
Okay.
just choose your language wisely.
Okay.
So if you say, I'll fix this for you, leave that with me, we'll sort that out. That's leaving the child out for a start, and you're giving guarantees in that moment that you may not be able to easily follow through on.
Okay.
So it's good to say, I will be with you every step of the way. I am not leaving you. I am right by your side. I love being in this with you. There might not be easy answers to this, but we'll find them together. So use language like that rather than, here's what's going to happen and I'm absolutely going to make sure of that. Because if you can't follow through on that, you sow the seed in the young brain that your word cannot always be trusted.
Yeah.
Even though you've wanted to completely reassure them, do that in a way that gives you both a good outcome. Yeah. I'm not leaving you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I love that you're sharing that with me. And then take it from there.
Yeah. That's really good. Really, really helpful, and something that you can actually achieve.
Do.
So you can be with them. Exactly. That's really, really good. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you've given us the past 3 sessions. And for everyone, go back and hear these. And we're talking about having any conversation. Doesn't matter intensity wise what it is. These can be really, it's such good advice from Phyllis there on, like, this can be like something minimal to something really extreme. But if we have the outline of a conversation, how best to do it, and thinking about the outcome you want, and just for you and the child. And I love Phyllis's language of just collaboration. You're not in there to demand things off your child, but you're in there to collaborate and think things through together. And as parents, like, we're all learning all the time. And if you go into the conversation and you lose it and you leave, there's repair can happen as well. That isn't the end of the world. You can go back, and what Phyllis said in the first conversation, and you can go back and listen to this, like, form these connections with your child before there's an issue. So then if you do go into one of these conversations and you hear something and you don't respond in a way that you're really that proud of, and you leave the room and you think, well, that was terrible, that was not my greatest moment, you have such a relationship that you can go in and you can repair and you can be honest, because your child knows your heart. Your child knows that they have a foundation where you love them and you care for them and you do have their best interests at heart. So think about that before there's even like an issue to think about, and develop the relationship. See your child, see how amazing your child is, and think about, oh, what are they interested in? How can I be interested in that in small ways, so that the really big things then that they do come to you, and that it does form the relationship. So a lot of our resources are online, so you can dip in and you can dip out, and you can come back to this whenever you need it. Maybe you don't need it right now, but think of your way. These are just an outline, but you know your child best and you know what's going on with them. So these are just some tips. So think of your own things as well, add them in. But thank you, Phyllis, and thank you everyone for watching.